Hey there, welcome back and Happy New Year. I'm wishing you much success and prosperity in 2023. This is going to be a good one. I think it's a great time to reflect on the past year as well as look ahead at the future. As a product manager, I help teams agree on the product features that we should build, and one of the ways that we do that is through a goal-setting framework called Objectives and Key Results, or OKRs. But I actually use this same framework in my personal life to create clarity and focus around the goals that I want to accomplish in the next year. So in this video, I want to share the process that I use to develop my own personal OKRs. I'll talk you through some of my actual OKRs that I've developed for the year, and I'll talk about some of the systems that I use to put them into action and execute them over the course of 2023. Let's go. So the first question is, why even set OKRs in the first place? And I always find that my life gets pretty busy and my demands end up stretching me across a lot of different dimensions. And so I find that OKRs help focus my ideas into execution. There's a John Doerr quote where he talks about how ideas are easy, but execution is everything. And I find that articulating my goals and the desired outcomes of accomplishing them helps create a lot of clarity and focus on them that turns them into great actions and habits that play out through the rest of the year. They also help track and measure progress on a recurring basis, and they help me to give me a place to reassess and stretch to complete them or pivot into a different direction if I find that they need to change. They're not written in stone and they can be revised as needed. But we find that OKRs greatly benefit teams at work. They improve engagement on and across teams. They end up becoming the system that a lot of high-performing teams use to drive their work. And so a lot of tech companies have adopted them successfully, including Google, who really popularized them in the tech space, Netflix, and Meta. So the first step in developing them starts with asking myself why. I find that looking at the bigger picture helps frame my thoughts at the highest level, and then that drives all of my actions throughout the year. There's a great Simon Sinek quote that talks about how people don't buy what you do, but they buy why we do it. And so starting with why helps bring clarity to the overarching reason for getting out of bed in the morning. There's a Japanese word called ikigai, which loosely translates as my reason for existing, my reason to be. And by really focusing on that in my own personal life, that creates a lot of clarity and a system through which I can think about the rest of my values and goals. So I spend time brainstorming on a mission statement, and I try to identify some of the common themes of things that really light me up and resonate with me, and then that becomes the mission that I think about throughout the year. And so 2023 for me is going to be about being a source of light in the world that inspires hope for a brighter future and cultivates human connection no matter where we go. So much of my work, my hobbies, a lot of what I do really comes back to me just wanting to inspire people and just light up the room, as well as create a better sense of human connection across the world. And so that ends up becoming the driving force for my year. So the next step is around identifying strategic objectives. Objectives are really define what you want to get done. Measure What Matters, which is the book that really popularized OKRs, talks about objectives being what is to be achieved, no more and no less. And so they should be derived from the mission statement. If an objective doesn't connect to a greater mission, then it's probably not going to be effective for really moving my life forward towards that mission. And I have 3 gut check requirements. One is that they're meaningful. They should light me up. The second is that they're audacious. They should represent significant change and be slightly intimidating. 3 is that they're inspiring. They should be easy to remember and empowering towards me. And so they should align with my strategy. They align with those life values of what's important to me to make progress on, and they're aspirational but focused. So ideally, you're aiming for 3 to 5, no more than 5, but ideally 3. Less is really better so that you can really remember them and internalize them. So as some examples for my own OKRs, here are my objectives for the year. 1 is around my mind. I want to cultivate mental awareness and wellness that drives my perception and actions in the world. The second is around my body. I want to develop my physical body into a robust vessel for navigating through life. The third is around work and wealth. I tend to combine these two because they're very related. I want to grow the impact of my service to the world to support my lifestyle and invest for the future. The fourth is around relationships. I want to strengthen connections with myself, my family, my friends, my romantic partner, and communities that I'm involved in. And fifth is around fun. I want to become a more well-rounded person through new interests, hobbies, and life experiences. Okay, so then the next step is around developing key results. Key results really measure the progress toward objectives. And I have 3 gut check requirements for key results. 1 is that they're specific and time-bound. They should be clear, they should be simple, and actionable. The second is that they're aggressive yet realistic. So similar to objectives, they should be aspirational and require a healthy bit of stretch. The third is that they're measurable and unmistakable. They should be quantifiable, they're clear, and you should clearly know when the criteria have been met to accomplish them. There's a great Dwight D. Eisenhower quote where he talks about how in preparing for battle, I've always found that plans are useless, but planning is indispensable. And so that's what I really love about the key results planning process, is that by brainstorming on them, you start to identify some of the systems, the habits, the things that I need to establish throughout the week so that I can accomplish those key results. And that ends up becoming the systems that I use to execute on them. So some example key results from across my list. In the mind category, I have a few. One is that I want to write one journal entry every morning. That's a great way for me to start my day. It's part of my morning routine. The second is that I want to participate in a therapy or coaching session every other week. And the third is that I'll practice 3 expressions of gratitude every night as a way to wrap up my night before going to bed. In the body objective, I want to gain 5 pounds of muscle while maintaining my current body fat percentage. I want to complete 5 weightlifting or run workouts every week. I want to run the Portland Marathon in October. And I want to sleep for 7 hours per night. And then under the fun objective, I have a few. 1, I want to publish 1 video per week. You're watching that. Thanks for helping me with my goal. 2 is that I want to read 1 book per month. And 3 is that I want to go on 1 international trip by the end of the year. Now, as a side note, at work, we often argue about what defines a well-written key result. And a lot of my colleagues might watch this and say, these key results actually seem to focus more on output rather than outcome. And generally, we try to focus on outcome rather than output. I think in my personal life, I tend to find 3 types of key results. 1 are more of effort-focused goals. I will spend 30 minutes of time doing this per day. The second is around output type of goals. I will produce this thing. I will produce a video per week, or I will write 1 journal entry every day. And then the third are outcome-based goals, or I will complete this major milestone, such as completing the Portland Marathon. I find that I just want to keep my key results as meaningful and impactful for me, so I don't stress too much about this. I try not to overthink it. I find that complexity is the enemy of execution, and so I try to keep it as simple as I can. And then we'll see if anyone at work chastises me. I don't think they watch these videos anyway, so I think we'll be okay. And so the next step is publishing them. Research shows that sharing goals creates social accountability that actually increases the likelihood of completing them. And so I find that it's helpful to share them with my family, my friends, so that I can create that social pressure that will help encourage me to keep my goals on track. So one system that I use to do this is an app called Notion. Notion is this app that provides a workspace that's completely configurable, and it's also a great document writing interface. And so you can use it for all kinds of things. And I actually use Notion to build a complete digital second brain of all the knowledge that I'm managing in my life. I'll make a video on this one day. But it's also great for writing docs and keeping them top of mind for me. I keep Notion open all day as I'm taking notes on things that are happening, I'm referencing it, and so it's great to have my OKRs listed right at the top so that I can always keep them top of mind. So I'll post a link to my OKRs for 2023 in the description below so that you can check them out, but I also share them with my friends, my family, and again, I find that creating that sense of excitement and shared buy-in and enthusiasm around them creates a sense of social pressure that really makes me want to continue to execute on them. Okay, so the last step is around execution, and that really comes down to tracking progress, adjusting the goals as needed, and then celebrating wins and reflecting on losses. So for tracking progress, I find that Sundays are a great day for me to just focus on a lot of self-care. I'm doing a lot of laundry, I'm updating my finances and budget, I'm meal prepping for the week, and it's also a great time to check in on my OKR progress. And so I'll use that time to track progress against my goals and just take some time to reflect on them, think about how things are doing, and adjust course if I need to. That brings me to the second step, which is adjusting those goals as needed. I give myself permission to change my objectives or my key results as much as I need to keep my life going in the direction that I want to. They're my goals, and so I can own them. But having that coherent, up-to-date, clear articulation of those goals that's reconciled with what's going on with my life is really what counts in this process. And then finally, I take time to celebrate the wins and then also learn from the losses. So that might mean if I complete a major goal, I'll take myself out to dinner, or I'll buy myself a nice gift, or I'll go on a victory walk around the neighborhood, or a run. I love running and walking. Or I'll just tell my family and friends, and kind of help me celebrate that accomplishment. Okay, so we're about ready to wrap this one up. If you got value from this video, I'd love if you smash that like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, where we apply the principles of product management in our personal lives, then go ahead and subscribe to that channel. Before you go, I'd love to hear from you in the comments as well. So I would love to hear what frameworks and systems you use to execute on your New Year's resolutions and goals for the year. I'd love to hear from you. And I'm going to try something new, which is maybe if you click here, then I'll try to link you to another video that talks about how I'm publishing a video every week as part of one of my goals for the year. And I'd love for you to check that one out. So in the meantime, I'll talk to you soon. Peace.